This all started with a shy conversation in a cold classroom with a bag of books. 13 years ago, wanting to make a difference in one person's life, I packed up some of my favorite titles from my office at Random House and went to meet the person I'd agreed to mentor. We were both readers, that's why we were matched up, but I knew little else about her. I was nervous. Why would Julia, a teenager from a public housing complex, want me as a mentor? I was a 36-year-old copy editor. How was I going to connect with a teenager? I wanted to volunteer, but I didn't want to overcommit. The program had to be something I could realistically do given my busy life. iMentor required emailing with your mentee once a week and meeting up occasionally. I figured I could manage that. Which led me to that first meeting with Julia. What she didn't know was that despite my current status, I grew up not too differently from her. My family didn't have a lot of money. My single mom, sister, and I got by with the help of government cheese, free lunches, and hand-me-downs. My dad, who lived half an hour away, was attempting to drink away his worries about the closing of Michigan's auto factories. The main concern in my family was survival, which came into sharp focus in the fall of my senior year. I'd applied to a few colleges without anyone knowing. When I was accepted, I asked my mom for $60 for a housing deposit. She looked at me like I was insane. Where would she get $60, let alone tuition? So I set aside the idea of college and became a nanny on Long Island. One day, the woman I worked for handed me a course catalog for Nassau Community College and a check for $100. $100 wasn't a lot to her, but it was huge for me. That check and help from other informal mentors along the way got the ball rolling. I was the first person in my entire family to go to college. iMentor gave me the opportunity to get the ball rolling for Julia. Through the program, I was able to present an alternate idea of what her prospects in life could be by attending college. Thanks to iMentor, I had the chance to reach out to the woman you're about to meet. As you may have guessed, it worked out pretty well. I mentored Julia, but she gave as good as she got. We clicked. She'll tell you why. And in that connection, a new path opened up for her. It's hard to imagine a future when you have no idea that that path even exists. That's why Julia wasn't even considering college, which was a crime, really, given her mind and heart. The quiet girl who showed up to that first meeting sparkled with promise. It was clear as day. To get her there, to give her access to the education and opportunities that she deserved, I knew she needed real help. Not just, "You're so great, I know you can do it," but actual assistance, the kind so many kids take for granted. Navigating course catalogs, figuring out scholarships, applying for work studies. This may sound basic, but I can tell you it wasn't for Julia, and still isn't for so many young people. And that's the beauty of iMentor. It provides the real help disadvantaged kids need to get to college, kids who wouldn't get it anywhere else. Julia and I stayed connected over the years. She got her associate's degree and a BA from Howard University. Since then, she's worked for the Democratic National Committee and President Obama's campaign. Yes. And now she's doing great work at the ASPCA. I was never surprised by her success, just delighted. It's amazing what people can do with a little help. I am just so ridiculously proud of her. But enough of what I think of my dear friend Julia, Blue. You should hear from her yourself. Julia, come on up.
When I first met Debbie, the only books in my house were borrowed from the library. We owned an encyclopedia set, but buying novels didn't happen. It was a luxury. So when Debbie handed over that bag of books, which included The Giver, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and more, I couldn't contain my excitement. For you to understand my relationship with Debbie and the critical role that iMentor played in changing the trajectory of my life, you should know a little bit about myself and the girl I was 13 years ago. I am one of 7 children. My oldest brother was born when my mother was in high school. She graduated, but the stress of raising a young son on her own made her education impossible. My dad, he was one of 16 children. He was raised in poverty in Rayford, North Carolina. They needed all hands working to put food on the table, so he stopped school after 3rd grade. I grew up on the Lower East Side. My parents managed our lives so well, we didn't know we were disadvantaged. But every now and then, I'd be reminded. School potlucks, they were bittersweet. My parents just didn't have enough money or time to contribute. They were also very strict. I was sheltered, I was shy, I was excited and curious about the world, but I was completely unable to imagine how I could do more. Inside, I yearned for more, especially as I watched the pressures of supporting our family cause my dad to abuse alcohol. I knew there had to be a better way, but what was it, and how do I get there? Then I joined iMentor. I walked in, and Debbie seemed so different from me. I mean, look at us. We're very different. But we connected instantly. She wanted to know my opinions and was curious about things that really mattered to me. We emailed regularly, and we saw each other often. One day, she asked me about my plans for college. College had never come up in our home. Why would it? My parents were busy providing, and like Debbie's parents, surviving. So Debbie was the first to ask, "Thank you." That conversation made me realize I was not only worth the investment, it gave me the confidence to pursue it shamelessly. Debbie helped with the tangibles too, like my application essays. I'm guessing most of you will help your kids with their essays, or have already. I had Debbie. And just as she said, the thing about getting accepted into college means nothing if you can't pay for it. But Debbie had been through that. So when I got my letter from Howard University, Debbie taught me about the financial aid process and helped me navigate the process. Like Debbie, I was the first person in my family to go to college. Today, I'm the director of major gifts at the ASPCA. I'm an animal lover, so this is a dream come true. From a curious, shy girl to a fundraising pro, I'm very lucky and I'm very happy. I owe that to iMentor and Debbie. And by the way, I now buy my own books. Three years ago, iMentor helped me make another dream of mine come true. I became a mentor to Fidelia Telfort, a beautiful, sweet spirit from Haiti. Would you all help me in welcoming Fidelia to the stage? You know. I'm gonna try to not be emotional. Let me be very, very clear. The best thing in my life, the reason I am on this planet, is to be Fidelia's mentor. So thank you, people of Robin Hood, and iMentor for making that happen. Fidelia came into my life the same way I came into Debbie's. Shy and with no concept of what was possible. Her family had immigrated from Haiti after the 2010 earthquake. At one point, she confided in me that her family asked her to drop out of high school to help with their bills. My experience suggested something different. I told her, jobs hold no security. Skills and knowledge do. Education is the great equalizer. And if you quit now, you will forever limit your possibilities. She stayed the course, and now she's in her second year at Borough of Manhattan Community College. Before her first day, Fidelia and I went to campus to meet the people in the financial aid and academic advisement offices. We mapped out her courses for the next 2 years. In August, Fidelia told me that she had done the same thing for one of her friends who was just starting classes. That was so powerful for me to hear, because it means that she gets it. She gets the importance of investing in education in college. The same thing I learned from Debbie and iMentor. There's another thing I'm very excited to tell everyone. Fidelia just became a US citizen. Obviously, I went with her. Seeing her in that courthouse was another one of those days I will never forget. And now, I thought you might like to hear from your fellow countrywoman, Fidelia. That's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Thank you, Julia. Without iMentor and without Julia, I will not be where I am today, preparing for my future. Like Debbie, like Julia, I am the first person in my family to go to college. I cannot wait for the day that I become a mentor, because there are so many people like me who can go so far with just a little help. Thank you.
Needless to say, I'm so excited to have another generation and to meet her mentee. You know, by supporting iMentor, you are responsible for ours and thousands of other great stories. And we're forever grateful. So thank you, Robin Hood. Keep up the good work, and we will too. Thank you.